seemed to be the brains of the outfit, because while Kilmo's eyes gleamed with greed, their ugly face frowned, adding at least 2 more degrees of ugliness to it.
We agreed to 7 vials of refined coaxium.
Han's eyes went wide. 7? He looked at his hands and made a show of counting the vials. 3, 4, 5? I could have sworn she gave me 7. The Saboteur stepped forward, flexing their claws, and Han took a quick step back. Hang on! Let me see if I misplaced them, he said, holding up one hand to stop the advance, as his other hand grasped the coaxium. He rooted around in one trouser pocket, and then the other one, awkwardly reaching across his body, while his right hand tightly grasped the treasure the gangsters wanted. His fingers brushed another vial, and he fished it out, sighing in relief. I misplaced it, he said triumphantly. Here you go.
That's still only 6,
Kilmo said, finally catching on.
Where's the last one?
Well, I'm sure Lady Proxima will accept a reduced payment for a reduced number of vials, Han said. You were gonna pay 41,000 for 7? How about 20,000 for 6? The gang advanced as one, and Han backed up, scrabbling for another answer. 18? 16! Give me a number. I can be Uh-oh. He had backed into something. It wasn't a wall, but it was about as solid, and a lot angrier. If he'd thought Kilmo and his friends were large, they were nothing compared with this person. Another human, a man, but bigger than any he had ever seen. The person was enshrouded in shadow, but Han could feel the muscles move under his skin, like busy rocks putting their affairs in order before an avalanche. Hands fell on his shoulder, and he staggered under the weight. Another friend? He asked, smiling weakly and looking up. That's when Kilmo hit him. The first punch landed squarely on his left eye, rocketing his head backward and making him see stars in the overcast sky. The second attack was the lucky one, though. It was a 1-2 that glanced off his nose and hit him in the gut. It was lucky not because the punches didn't hurt. His eyes watered from the pain, and he doubled over, desperately trying to get his breath back. But because they drove him backward into the man who held him. Since Kilmo had been so helpful as to give him some extra force, Han drove back with his elbows as he hit the man behind him. He would have liked to slam his head back and break the guy's nose as well, but the guy was too tall. Besides, Han was doubled over from the force of the blow to his stomach. But he could still hit the guy behind him, so he too could feel the pleasure of a gut punch. As Han had hoped, the man staggered backward, doubling over and losing his grip on Han. The coaxium vials fumbled through Han's fingers and rolled to the ground as he forced himself to run, still doubled over. At least hunched over in pain was a good position to avoid the Saboteur's attempt to grab him as he scrambled away. He gave one last mournful look at the coaxium, now being gathered by Kilmo's greedy hands. Blast, he said under his breath. Except it was more like a croak, since his breath hadn't returned. He hadn't wanted to leave without the payment. Not having the credits would be a problem when he returned to Lady Proxima. But if Han had learned anything in his years on Corellia, it was to get away with your life first, and then later you could deal with all the other problems that getting away had caused. His middle stopped spasming, and he took in a great whoop of air. Han straightened up, stretched his legs, and ran. Chapter 1. The pre-dawn light began to tentatively touch the pills of Coronet City, making the dark gray connected islands somewhat lighter gray before the sun would rise and turn them to their glory of, well, a little bit lighter gray than that. The city was always gray in some shade or other. Through the dark gray, Han sought an answer to the question.